Hello, so we're gonna do kind of an unboxing here. Let's pretend you're looking at one of those very beautiful, attractive people and they're super happy to be opening their phone. They're gonna open it up and everybody's gonna be real excited. What's in here? Ooh, well, iPhone 12 Pro Max 256, blue, insurance referred. Okay, so here's the story. 2.5 years ago, my daughter wanted an iPhone 12. That was the big deal phone for her, I guess. It was whenever it was new. I think it was 2.5 years ago. I went to T-Mobile and they screwed up everything. They really messed up and the phone got sent incorrectly. And then they sent us a bunch of screen protectors and then they finally sent us the two phones. And then they sent us an extra iPhone 64. No lie. It wasn't even ours. I gave it to my daughter and she sold it to somebody for $300. I was like, whatever, man. So anyway, T-Mobile screwed up a whole bunch of different times, but her phone was replaced once because she dropped it in a swimming pool and it was 7 feet deep. Any deeper than 5 feet, it was bad. So we had Apple iCare send her a phone, and the phone showed up. They weren't there because we told them, don't send the phone yet. They're not there. Signature required. The FedEx guy delivered the phone to a neighbor. We couldn't find out what neighbor. FedEx didn't know what neighbor. The driver couldn't remember what neighbor. A signature was on the phone, so Apple Care had to send a different phone because that phone ended up with some random neighbor. Nobody really knows. Whatever. So yeah, this time it was UPS. So here's the deal. This phone was covered for a few weeks. I had just switched to Cricket because I had T-Mobile. I went to Metro. I used to have Metro since it started in the Bay Area. Like Metro, I've had phones. My first phone was 3.2 pounds, and it was 90 cents a minute incoming and 90 cents a minute outgoing for every call. And I made a lot of money off having a phone back in the early 90s. So it was not a problem. And I've had phones forever. So these iPhones, they're okay. I hate the camera. The camera has 3 lenses. It could have 300. It still auto focuses for you. I can't focus on, say, like some tiny little thing that I want to focus on. It's constantly doing the job for me, and it gives average quality photos. I hate the phone feature, so I don't like the iPhone that much. However, it's okay. Phone has a lot of features that are okay. Whatever. Anyway, I got the 256 for lots of memory, and my phone then fell into some water. And at one point in time, this phone was in the washing machine for 5 minutes and I pulled it out and it was still on and I dried it off and it worked. But that was 2 years ago. So now it got wet and it started glitching. So I got it replaced in September. It was a brand new phone, not a refurb. It was a brand new phone. So it was a decent phone. It was stolen, unfortunately. So let's just say that on the 10th of the month, I'd been covered for 3 weeks and I have a nice phone, and I call Assurion to make a claim after the person at Cricket advised me how to do that. And the claim was rejected. So first claim was rejected because they said the device was not covered. Well, here's the deal. What ends up happening is I went to the store, I bought that other iPhone, the one I'm holding right now in my hand, 12, so you have to have 12 or newer to get the 5G. So I said, well, just give me a 12. 64 gigabytes, cool. And that'll hold me over till I get my phone back, and then I'll have a backup phone, which is this phone. Anyway, these are smaller. The iPhones and the iPhone Pros are smaller, so I have the Pro Max, which is bigger. I had a nice OtterBox on it and took really good care of it. It was never out of the OtterBox. So whatever, so I filled out the first claim, rejected, the phone's not covered. Second claim, I added a week thinking, oh, well, maybe, that's cool. We'll cover it for a month. I'll wait. Then it's covered for a whole month. They said it should be covered within 24 hours, but I thought, well, maybe not. Maybe it's not. So we'll wait a month, right? We'll have a whole month. They rejected that claim too and said it wasn't covered. Back to the Cricket store. So now I've talked to 12 different people at Assurion over the course of almost a week. And it was a real horrible experience. I had to keep filling out a new claim form with a new claim number. And I finally got to the point where I said, okay, back to the Cricket store. We figured it out. When the Cricket guy helped me by switching the SIM card, it made it look like this device was not covered because I had 2 lines on this phone, the one new line that I got, and the old line, which was this phone. This is my phone that I use for my business. It's powerful enough to use for my business, so instead of a computer, it's actually possible to run a small business for my purposes on this phone, on this device. Therefore, I really needed it. But what ended up happening is I talked to 16 different Assurion people in India, Colombia, and the Philippines. And that took about a week or more of talking to people, and finally get to a person who says, oh, here's the problem. Because he switched the SIM card on the date that you went in and said my phone was stolen yesterday, the phone looks like it's not covered because you have both lines on this phone, which I thoroughly explained to every single person from the very beginning. All of them, every single one of the 16. 4 different supervisors. They're all reading a script. Oh, we're so sorry to hear that your phone has been stolen and you have been inconvenienced. And I want to assure you that our expert service will help you get a phone. And I promise, it was a script, right? Every person the same script in 3 different time zones, right? And if you call a supervisor, it's no better because they have to download all the information and they don't even go back and look at the notes. So you have to tell the story over again. So I had 5 or 6 hours of talking to Assurion employees, and I had 2 trips to the Cricket store. So that was another 3 hours. So we're looking at, 8-hour day, something like that, all together over the course of a period of time to finally get the phone sent to me. I'm a trained speech language pathologist as well as a counselor, and I've been working in this field for a while, so I wanted to make sure that they said the correct letter. A as in alpha. And when they had the claim, it was Z as in zebra, Y as in yellow, A as in alpha. And look what happened. They sent it to the wrong address. S, right? How'd that happen? Well, I don't know, because before this, they sent the phone to a different city where I had, when T-Mobile sent me a phone, the one that got replaced back in September, had a completely different address in a completely different city. And despite the fact that I had confirmed the address with every single person I talked to, because they have to verify your identity, your mailing address, the claim form, where you want the thing sent, all this other stuff, they had my address, but they somehow put a letter S. How's that even possible? So they said the phone will be there within 24 hours. But they wanted me to fill out an affidavit and backdate it to the day before the phone got stolen. Assurion did, right? They said, we'll put this date, which is the day before he changed the SIM card, and then I guarantee that it will be covered. Well, sure enough, it was covered. They approved the claim. Then I talked to 3 more people to make sure they had the correct address when they're going to send it, because I said I'll have to wait in the building for you to have the phone delivered. I want to know exactly when it's supposed to show up, because I want a signature. Because when my daughter's phone fell in a swimming pool a year and a half ago, it was 7 feet deep. This holds water to 5 feet. By the way, this phone that I had, the iPhone 12 Pro Max before, that was replaced, it went in the washing machine once, and it was in the washing machine moving around with clothes for 5 minutes. I figured out where my phone was. I pull open the door of the washing machine. I reach in there, I grab my phone. It's still on and functioning. I couldn't charge it, but when I dried it out, it worked fine. So, it's definitely an okay phone. Like I said, I hate the camera. So I go to unbox it, and I want to show you that. But first, I want to get to what happened. UPS couldn't deliver it because it's the wrong address. I wasted 5 hours waiting for the phone so I could sign for it. And then a few minutes before 1:30, undeliverable. I got a hold of UPS customer service, and they said, well, you have to get a hold of Assurion. Assurion has to ask us to send it to a different address. So that took a whole nother hour. I talked to another Assurion employee. Then I talked to a supervisor. They contacted UPS. Then UPS and I talked, and we arranged to have the phone sent to a store, a UPS store, where I could pick it up, because I said I can't sit here day after day waiting for a stupid phone to show up. Just send it to the UPS store. So they were supposed to call me back. They never did. 6 hours later, I called UPS, right? So 9 o'clock in the morning, 1:30, the phone doesn't show up. Then at 2:30, 2:45, I deal with Assurion again. And then 9 o'clock at night, I got to call UPS and say, why the hell haven't I got a call back? You told me you were going to call me back in an hour. Oh, sorry, sir, couldn't call you back. The employee was incorrect, whatever. Did you get a message to the hub? I used to work for UPS. That tracking number, you know exactly where that phone is. You can literally put your hand on the phone within a couple minutes if you're at UPS, because you know where that phone is at all times. In 1980, when I worked for UPS in Oakland, I used to load trucks and, big trucks, the big 40-footers. 10,000 packages a night I might load, you know. So I was a young kid, worked for UPS, Teamsters Local 70 Oakland, go Teamsters. That's because they used to drive teams of horses. That's why they're called Teamsters. And they drive trucks, so not teams of anything really. But in any case, I finally got a hold of the UPS store locally, which is a mile away from the hub, which is a mile away from my house. So I literally could have walked over and got the phone. Anyway, the UPS store helped me out quite a bit. And so I bought them 2 pizzas. I said, if you can find my phone for me and get it to your hub, get it from the hub or the driver and get it into your store, I'll buy you a couple pizzas. And they said, no, sir, you don't have to do that. But they called me back a few hours later. We have your phone. Here it is. I called the local pizza place. I had 2 pizzas sent there. I had a combo pizza, and then I had a vegetarian pizza. I don't know, whatever they eat. But the store was really happy. It took me another 3 days to get to the store. So, you know, the phone's been sitting there for a couple days. Any case, I opened it up, and here's what I want you to listen to before I open it up. Listen to this. Now imagine you're a truck driver, and imagine, you know, you're driving a truck, and imagine, you know, you're not doing anything but driving your truck, and then you deliver a package. Check this out. That's all the packaging that was in there. Check out how scratched up all of this plastic is. That's exactly how it was. Look at this. It's all scratched to hell. What the hell, right? Okay. And then, look at that. Look what they gave me. Oh, isn't that nice? You know, maybe it's not a refurbished cord. You couldn't afford like a little paper here. You couldn't afford maybe just a little bubble wrap or something. I mean, how about you put this underneath this plastic here to make sure it's not sliding around? It was sliding all around over here. It was insanely stupid. I couldn't believe it. So anyway, it's a refurbished phone. My other phone was in an OtterBox. I hope it works. I'm about to switch from Cricket to anything else where I can get Apple Care and not have to deal with this. Oh my gosh. So anyway, yeah, it's not like I'm gonna hurt the phone after it's been bouncing around like that, right? So that's my experience with Assurion, which I think should be spelled ASS for sure. Like, absolutely, unbelievably, the most incompetent thing. 6 hours maybe with 16 different people, and then another couple hours with UPS, and then another couple hours with UPS, and finally I have my phone. I mean, at minimum wage in California, that's $20 an hour times like at least 12 hours, you know, that's $240. So I had to pay a $250 deductible to get the phone. They should have at least waived the deductible after all the hell I've been through. So hopefully this thing works okay, but who knows? Maybe this phone was the water damaged phone that my daughter returned, or the water damaged phone that you know, someone else returned and it fell in the ocean, saltwater damage. I have no idea, but the hope is that it's a decent phone. I'll cover it with an OtterBox. Let me tell you the difference between this and OtterBox. My OtterBox cracked on the corner. I called OtterBox. They wanted to know who I bought the OtterBox from. I said I bought it when I bought the phone at the T-Mobile store on such and such a date. They sent me a brand new OtterBox, a Defender Pro, and that's an excellent cover. And they didn't require any documentation. They didn't require anything at all except where I bought it and when I bought it. And I said, hey, instead of black, could you send me a purple one? And they sent me a purple one. OtterBox was unbelievably fantastic in the customer service, just fantastic. Can't recommend OtterBox enough. It protected my phone as well as being very easy to deal with when there was an issue. All I can say is Apple Care was better. FedEx, of course, you know, delivered a phone to a random neighbor because I said signature required on my daughter's phone, and they got a signature all right from a neighbor, and FedEx couldn't tell me who the neighbor was. The driver couldn't tell me who the neighbor was. They didn't ask for any ID. So I started doing things like saying signature required from an occupant of this particular building who comes out and shows identification to the driver and confirms that they are the person on the box. Like, that's my instructions. However, that didn't even help because somehow Alpha became Sam. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Man, this is an unboxing that hopefully somebody understands. If you're going through hell with these people, join the club, man.